In the late 1960s, San Francisco was in its heyday. It was the center of anti-war protests and considered the birthplace of the counterculture movement. The stories of the city from that time are well documented, but we're getting a fresh look at some of them thanks to a recently discovered trove of undeveloped film. And as John Blackstone shows us, these pictures have unveiled a new mystery.
The photos, more than 8,000 images, capture an unmistakable time and place. But there is a mystery in this huge photographic archive.
Somehow the work ended up in a storage unit. That storage unit was abandoned. A picker bought it, sold it to a collector.
No one knows who took the pictures or why they seem to have been abandoned before even being processed.
What's interesting about this is this film was completely unprocessed, and none of these photographs were ever seen by the photographer that made them.
Wow. Professional photographer Bill Dalzell now owns the collection. What did you think when you first began to look at these photos?
I was literally stunned by the quality of the work. And so to think that someone spent 5 years capturing these iconic moments in time and then to have lost the work just hit me really hard.
The unknown photographer seemed to be everywhere all the time, whether it was a march supporting the civil rights movement, a protest against the war in Vietnam, or the Grateful Dead playing a free concert in Golden Gate Park.
So this photograph I think of as just sort of, it's got everything, right? It's got people watching, it's got people participating, it's got mystery man staring at the photographer. Some people speculate that's the best portrait ever done of Timothy Leary. They really are moments captured in time in a unique and up-close way.
Dalzell is now on a quest to identify the photographer, posting images with photographic groups online.
We have real sleuths, mystery fans, avid photographers, all looking to clues that might lead us in the direction of who the photographer was.
What are some of the more creative suggestions that you've received?
I have to give credit to a young man that suggested that we try and pull DNA and fingerprints off the film, the unprocessed film.
Look closely enough, and there may be a clue in a faint image reflected in a window. There is one photo that shows the photographer, shows a reflection of the photographer in the window.
When I see that photograph, I see a person of fine features. It looks like a woman to me.
So we've all now become accustomed to pulling out our smartphone and snapping away as many photos as we want. How was what this photographer had to do so much different than the way so many photographs are taken today?
Right. Well, I'm glad you asked, because the technique of capturing images at this level was complicated. First of all, it was film. Second of all, you couldn't see the work until you had it processed. And so you needed to have a mastery of the camera, the lens choice, the aperture you chose, the shutter speed you chose. Film was expensive, processing was expensive. You know, it's sort of different than digital photography.
Perhaps the expense of processing the film 60 years ago is one reason the photographer left so much behind, never developed.
So this is 75 rolls of film that remain unprocessed. A lot of it is in Kodachrome color identified canisters, and these canisters haven't been opened for 60 years.
Dalzell raised money on Kickstarter to pay for processing the final part of this photographic time capsule.
Could be up to 2,700 images. If they're anything like the images that we have already processed, it's going to be a spectacular collection.
Perhaps somewhere in those undeveloped rolls is a clue that will lead to the talented person behind the camera.
This work is so skillful that it is just unimaginable how they could have been separated from it, because the passion they showed in the capturing of the moment, the interest that they had in so many different parts of this story is just apparent in the work. And then to have lost it it's not only heartbreaking, but it's just hard to explain.
For CBS Saturday Morning, John Blackstone, San Francisco.
Unbelievable. John's going to have to update us on who the mystery photographer was, and then also the rest of the film.
Yeah, and so
it's developed.
Those 75 rolls, the reason they haven't developed it is exactly what John was saying in the piece. It is still expensive, if not more expensive now, because that's an old technique, and you have to be so delicate with it. So they're still trying to raise money in order to develop the rest of those.
I can't wait to see
What
them.
great photographs,
yeah.
though. Wow.